was born in this desert in southern Arizona on a hot evening in July 1979. My mom gave birth to me on a beanbag chair, and a few years later decided that she wasn't in love with my dad and got together with my stepdad and moved to Mexico. So I grew up in Mexico, but I spent every summer in this desert with my dad. I love this desert. This desert feels like home. It feels safe. I am always inspired to take photographs and to make beauty in this desert. I fell in love with photography in my senior year of high school at Tucson High in 1997. It was a beautiful year of discovering my real true passion for art, and I immediately took to it, and I immediately found what I loved photographing, which was bare bodies. But I wasn't able to figure out how to make that into a profession until 10 years ago. I finally took some photos of myself trying to embrace my big body. My body that society has always told me is wrong, is too big, I've had too many chins, that my arms jiggle too much. I took some self-portraits and I posted them online, and my career changed almost overnight because it turns out there are millions of other women who desire to accept their bodies just the way they are as well. I started this journey 10 years ago, body acceptance, but it's only in the last few years that I really learned to love this body. But the beautiful thing is I've always been able to see other bodies as perfect. It took me a while to accept my own body, but I could easily see other bodies as masterpieces and art. And I even made a few books about mothers' bodies and about bodies of women growing older. One thing that always reminds me of my own beauty, of my own sacred presence on this earth, is connecting with nature. I love gardening the little bit that I can here in southern Arizona. It's a little challenging because there's not a lot of water. But one thing I can grow profusely is lemongrass. And I love making some strong lemongrass tea. It makes my house smell good, and I love making a cup. It took me almost 28 years to finally find acceptance with my bigger body. In a culture that worships thinness and youth, it can really hijack your joy. But after diligent practice and taking so many self-portraits and these kinds of videos, I have finally come to peace with my body. Sometimes I don't love how she looks bigger, or how my rolls hang, or how I have all the chins in the world. But it doesn't hijack my joy anymore. I just accept it. I might not always like it, but I always love myself. I call that radical self-love. The kind of love that you love yourself even on the days where you might not necessarily like everything about yourself. You can still love. And another thing I got to do is re-establish my relationship with food. I used to be afraid of eating. I used to be afraid of food and have to label that good and bad. And oh, the joy of finally allowing myself to enjoy with such tremendous gratitude. My son is now 10 years old. I started this radical self-love journey right after he was born. So you could say he's my best teacher on how to love myself. Oh, I love this boy so much. And it feels like the biggest privilege to be his mama. Another part of my radical self-love practice that I've developed over the last 10 years is that I move my body from a place of love, not a place of punishment. I used to exercise for the sole purpose of shaping my body into thinness. I didn't do it from love, and I always felt disappointed. Now that I move from a place of love, I can't wait to meet the sunrises and walk with my dog and move my body and breathe. Now that I'm not pursuing thinness, I love to move my body again. I love burning candles, incense, and white sage that I even grow myself. I love honoring those that have departed, like my dad here in this photo. Part of my healing of radical self-love is also connecting to my little girl, so I love this photo of my dad and me when I was just a little girl. It serves a double purpose of honoring my dad and connecting with my little girl self. Hello friends. You can see rainbows going across my face because I have all these light catchers in my window and it tosses rainbows all over my house. But thank you for watching my first ever vlog video. I've been wanting to do this for so long. I've been wanting to capture little tidbits of my life, moments that I find precious, and also wanted to share more about my process as a body positive photographer for the last 10 years. And body image is something that pretty much everyone, men included, struggle with in our culture. And I have found ways to accept my body in a culture that is very pro thinness and pro youth. It's a challenging thing. It's a challenging thing to love your body when you're always told to be different, to change, to be better, as if this isn't good. So it's taken me a long time to reclaim my own sovereignty with my body. And yeah, so I wanted to start this little channel and start talking about these things. And I want to talk about, you know, things that are super important to me, like radical self-love, radical co-parenting. So I had my son, his dad's name is Alok. And we learned, it wasn't easy, we learned how to be radical co-parents. And when I say radical, I mean, I know very few co-parents like Alok and I. Alok and I have learned how to be co-parents from the most compassionate angle. And Alok's partner, Caitlin, who is a goddess, is my son's bonus mom. And all three of us are just so tight. And I want to talk about that on this vlog because I feel like that's information that can be helpful for a lot of people. There's a lot of people raising their children in a blended model, and I don't feel like we have a whole lot of guidance. And I have a lot of things to say about it anyway, and I love it. I love talking about radical, compassionate co-parenting. Woo! It gets me excited. Because here's the thing about that particular thing is like, this is not how I imagined raising a child. I thought I was going to have the nuclear family and that was that. That was what I always imagined. That's not what happened. But instead of going to a place where I felt icky, I decided to evolve, and so did Alok, and so did his partner Caitlin. We all decided to use communication and like wanting to see all of us succeed, because when we do that, our son benefits from that. He sees adults, all these adults that care for him. He got a bonus mom. I didn't even know that I desired for my son to have a bonus mom. I didn't even know. If you'd have asked me 12 years ago, do you want to have a baby and have him have a bonus mom? I'd been like, what? There's so many things we don't know, and it can be scary. Like when I had my son and I was single at that time, and his dad, Alok, and I were trying to figure out how to be co-parents. It was hard. It was hard. I'm not going to lie. But we found really beautiful ways to learn how to be co-parents. I want to share about that. I want to share about my art. I want to share about my clients. There's just so much I desire to share. And I want to take questions from you, questions that you might have. What are you struggling with body image or relationship stuff or co-parenting or parenting, food with your kids? Yeah. There's so many topics that I desire to cover, but most of all, I desire to share my passion for beauty on this channel. There's so much beauty all around us. But here's the thing. We, as humans, we accept diversity in nature. We know that where's my dog? Is he back there? We know that there's there he is. We know there's, I don't know, how many different kinds of dogs are there? A lot. We got the Great Danes, we got the Poodles, we got all the different dogs, and we accept that diversity as part of life because it is. We go into a forest, we accept that diversity as part of life because it is, and it's beautiful. Diversity is actually beautiful. But we've been trained to think that we need to look a certain way and even act a certain way and use our voice a certain way. That has kind of left us feeling kind of like in prison. So breaking out of that, there's a whole new world of beauty out here, y'all. When you start learning how to see yourself as beautiful and start embracing all of the parts, yes, the part, the double chin, all the parts we've been told are gross and unworthy and that we should hide, with that acceptance comes a certain freedom. And it's pretty gorgeous, but it takes practice. It takes practice. And I'm not every day like, I love my jiggle and my double chin. You know, some days I'm like, ugh, really? Why? Why all of these rolls, right? I don't particularly like it. But never, and this took me 28 years to finally master. Do I call myself gross or beat myself up? It's okay that I don't like certain things about myself sometimes. I sit with that, but I will not speak unkindly to this body. This body is my friend. And this is one question I like to ask people a lot is, do you speak to yourself the way you speak to someone you love? A friend, your children, a lover, even your dog or your cat? And if the answer is no, don't feel guilty. Please don't feel guilt. Shame and guilt, It's okay. We've been trained to think that way. It's okay. So we get to have self-compassion. But the first step we get to take, the first step is a step towards reconciliation, is making amends with this beautiful body, with you. And that takes time and patience, and it's a rocky road, but it's absolutely possible. And life is so precious and so, I'm 43, I don't even know how am I already 43? I feel like I'm still 18. Life goes by quick. So let us sit in more gratitude in our bodies and less judgment. And as we do that, oh my goodness, y'all, you start seeing beauty where you've never seen it before, and it is amazing. It is amazing. So welcome to your exploration of beauty. If you're already doing it, then awesome. And if you're not already doing it, awesome. No shame or guilt. But there's beauty out there that you don't even know about, that you don't even know how to see. Yeah, it's so exciting. Anyway, if you love art, if you love dancing, if you love witnessing beauty in yourself and others, if you love gardening, if you love raising your children from just radical self-compassion, I hope that you will continue to check out these videos that I'm going to be sharing. I'm gonna talk to some people that I really am excited to talk to and bring them on here and dance and jiggle, and hopefully if I'm doing it correctly, if I'm doing what I desire to truly do, is that you watch these and you have a feeling of less alone, that your body's a good body, and that maybe there's a whole other realm of beauty out there that you haven't even tapped into yet, including yourself. A lot of folks that I photograph, I tell them, oh, if you could only see what I see, we would both be just, But it's hard to see ourselves the way that our soul would see ourselves. It's hard because we have a lot of voices and a lot of inherited beliefs about what bodies are supposed to look like in our culture. So as we strengthen our soul's voice of you are good, you are sacred, you are beautiful, you are a part of the collective beauty, we start seeing things that we've never seen before, y'all, and it's amazing. I think my dog is snoring. Your body's a good body. Your body deserves to feel like a masterpiece, like art. And I am genuinely sending you all of my love. All of my love. And thank you for being here. It's such an honor to share this, to share my passions with you. Thank you, and I'll see you soon, hopefully in like 2 weeks. Bye.